My name is Abby Ellender, and I'm one of the founders and co-owners of Yoga Theorem. This is Peanut, my dog. He's our studio manager. It's his official title. So I started out with getting into teacher training. Well, I guess I started out really before that. I started doing yoga in college. I was super stressed out and crazy all the time, and I just was looking for anything that would help me relieve some of the anxiety I was feeling. I wasn't what you would say was like the best student. I wasn't great at class. So I really was looking for something to kind of help me relax and chill out a little bit. So I started going to yoga classes at Ohio State, where I went to school, and they had a couple that you could take as a student, and then they had a yoga club, so I started going to that, and I, after my first class, immediately felt so much more relief from the anxiety. Like, my body was just holding so much tension that I was finally able to let go of. So I kept doing yoga through college, and then I moved to Houston after I graduated and joined a yoga studio there, which I fell in love with and kept practicing, and then got transferred to Oklahoma City, and so I was like, how am I gonna find another studio? And I landed at Hidden Dragon in Midtown, and they're a fantastic studio, super alignment-based yoga, and I really fell in love with it. I worked in the oil and gas for about 5 years, and then I got laid off, and so I found myself unemployed, and the only thing that I was really doing consistently was yoga. And so I was like, why don't I just do yoga teacher training? There was one coming up. I had the money, from getting laid off and having saved up for it. And, I was like, this is my chance. Like, I saved up money to do these types of things that I love to do. So I'm going to take the chance. So I did yoga teacher training and met my fellow co-owners of the studio here in yoga teacher training. So we all went through the Hidden Dragon 200-hour training together. And when we finished up that training, one of the students at the studio there came to the owner, Desiree, and to us and said, I have this building in Edmond, I own it, and the people who are renting it are leaving. I would love it if you guys would open another studio. So we were like, what does it even mean to own a studio? None of us had even taught a class by then. But we thought, why not? Let's just jump in and open a yoga studio. So we spent 3 weeks or so kind of figuring out what would it cost, what does it even mean to own a yoga studio, and we got a lot of help from Des, obviously. We franchised the name from her, so we had an agreement with her to use the name and follow her teaching methodology and things like that. So we opened the studio 3 months after we finished teacher training. I think I had taught 2 classes to the public before we opened the studio. So you could say that we were maybe like jumping in or like jumping ahead a little bit. But, a year later, we've rebranded now. We're under our own name, which was super exciting for us. We got that opportunity sooner than we thought we would. And it was just like awesome that we were able to kind of go out on our own. So we're super thankful for what Hidden Dragon offered us, and now excited to be kind of making this space our own. So I guess that's how you become a yoga studio owner. Yeah, so I did lots of sports growing up. I always played softball from the time I was 4, and I later added soccer and swimming, and just spent basically 18 years abusing my body, because we would practice and then we would kind of stretch, but no one ever really impressed the importance of stretching, giving your muscles relief on me. So I just ran and played soccer and swam and just all of it all out for 18 years. And so then when I got to college and added the anxiety of classes and trying to get the right GPA so I could get a good job and all that on top of it, all of that tension in my body was brought to light, and it was not working well for me. So I've always been active, but I did not ever understand the benefits of really stretching and breathing. I think breathing is the biggest thing that yoga taught me. Like, I don't know if I'd ever taken a deep breath, like a full deep breath, before I came to a yoga class. And that's one of the most relaxing things to me, is just taking a deep breath. So I've always been active, but it's changed tremendously. And I still, now that I do yoga and teach yoga, I still do lots of other types of cross training. I do, weightlifting and kettlebell work and not CrossFit, boot camp, things like, CrossFit-like things. Because it's always important to have a balance. But yoga has just made all of those things more enjoyable, and it's made living in my body a lot more enjoyable. Yoga practice, asana, being on your mat, is really only one part of yoga. Yoga is a full body experience of becoming more in tune with yourself, your body, your mind. I think one of the biggest benefits that I've gotten outside of the physical and the stress relief is taking the time to really think. I was the kind of person and still am. I'm still always working on it, but I'm the kind of person where I'm constantly intaking information. So you're in the car, you're listening to music or a podcast, or you're reading, or you're at work and you're in meetings. Just constant intake of information. And it was really hard for me to imagine wanting to sit in silence or wanting to just be with my own thoughts. And yoga's allowed me to figure out how to be comfortable in that place. When I'm in class and when I'm focusing so hard on what the teacher's saying or trying to get my body to do what the teacher's asking me to do, I don't have time to think about all of the things that I've been working on that day, all of the meetings, what happened before class or after class. It really forces me to be in the moment. And that's taught me how to be by myself and be quiet, and just figure out how to enjoy the stillness. The best part about yoga to me is the end when we do shavasana and we lay quiet and still for a few minutes. And I feel like that's so enjoyable because we've earned it by the time we get to that point. So the calmness, the ability to be in the moment, not thinking about all the other things I need to be doing, and learning to be still and quiet has been really important to me. Such a strange thing to feel like you have to learn to do at 29. Why can't I be quiet and alone? But it's hard. It feels uncomfortable.